The shadow friend who tried to delete me from my own life. So listen, I thought I knew what crazy looked like. I've seen the movies, I've heard the podcasts, but nothing, and I mean nothing, prepares you for the moment your best friend of 15 years looks you dead in the eye and tells you that your life actually belongs to her. My name is Maya. My husband Jackson is, well, he's the kind of guy who still opens car doors and remembers my favorite coffee order, even when I'm being a total nightmare. And then there's Celine. Celine was my person. We met in college, shared a tiny dorm room, and stayed inseparable through our 20s. Or so I thought. The weirdness started about 6 months ago. It was subtle. You know, the kind of stuff you brush off because you don't want to be that person. I'd find a pair of earrings in my jewelry box that weren't mine, but they were exactly my style. Or I'd notice my favorite perfume was running low, way faster than usual. I figured I was just losing my mind, or maybe I was just tired from work. But then came the dinner. We were at this upscale Italian place downtown. Celebrate Jackson's promotion. Celine was there, looking stunning. Honestly, she looked more like me than I did. She was wearing my favorite shade of lipstick. Her hair was done in the exact same beachy waves I always wear. She even had on a dress that was a carbon copy of the one I wore on our first anniversary. Halfway through the appetizers, Celine sets her wine glass down. The table goes quiet. She looks at Jackson, then at me, and she says, with this terrifyingly calm smile, "Maya, I think it's time we stop pretending. You're clearly overwhelmed, you're stressed, you're tired, and honestly, you're just not giving Jackson what he needs anymore." I laughed. I actually laughed because I thought she was joking. "Excuse me," I said, waiting for the punchline. But Celine didn't laugh. She reached across the table, and she didn't grab my hand. She grabbed Jackson's. "I've already looked into the paperwork," she said, her voice like silk. "A conscious uncoupling. You keep the condo in the city, but Jackson in the house. They come with me. It's what's best for everyone, Maya. You get to rest, and I get to finally live the life I've been preparing for since we were 20. Jackson yanked his hand away like he'd been burned. "Celine, what the hell are you talking about?" She just looked at him with this pity. "Oh, Jackson, baby, don't do that. Don't act like we haven't been building this. The late night texts. The way you look at me when she's not in the room. I know you're scared of hurting her, but she's okay with it. Aren't you, Maya?" I felt the air leave my lungs. I looked at my husband. He looked horrified. I looked at my best friend, and for the first time in 15 years, I realized I was looking at a total stranger. "Get out," I whispered. Celine sighed a long, dramatic sigh, like I was a difficult child. "Fine. If you want to do this the hard way, we can do it the hard way. But remember, Maya, I know where all the bodies are buried. I am you, and soon everyone else will realize that too." She stood up, smoothed out her dress, and walked out of that restaurant like she owned the place. For the next 48 hours, Jackson and I were in total lockdown. He showed me his phone. Nothing. No texts, no calls, nothing from Celine except for group chats about brunch. He was just as blindsided as I was. But the feeling of being watched, that didn't go away. 2 days later, I came home from a late shift. The house was dark. Jackson was supposed to be at the gym. I walked into the kitchen, dropped my keys on the counter, and I smelled it. Cock oven, my signature dish, the one I make every year for Jackson's birthday. I walked into the dining room, and my heart nearly stopped. The table was set for two. Candles were lit. 2 glasses of red wine were poured. And sitting at the head of the table, wearing my favorite silk robe, was Celine. She was reading one of my books. She didn't even look up when I walked in. "You're late, honey," she said. Her voice. She was doing an impression of me. The same inflection, the same slight rasp. "Jackson will be home in 10 minutes. You should probably go before things get awkward. How did you get in here?" I shouted, my voice shaking. "I changed the locks yesterday, Celine." She finally looked up, and she held up a small, silver key. "You changed the front door, Maya. You forgot the basement bulkhead. You always were a little forgetful. That's why Jackson needs someone more focused." I reached for my phone to call the police, but she was faster. She stood up, and she wasn't smiling anymore. "Go ahead," she said, stepping into the light. "Call them. Tell them your best friend is in your house. But before they get here, you might want to check the hidden camera I installed in your bedroom 3 months ago." I froze. "What? Oh, did you think I was just rearranging things for fun?" Celine laughed, and it was a cold, sharp sound. "I've seen everything, Maya. I know about the vitamins you take when you can't sleep. I know about the emails you sent to your ex last Christmas when you were feeling lonely. I have hours, weeks of footage of you being unstable. If you call the cops, I'll make sure every single person in your office and Jackson's parents see exactly who you are when the lights go out." I felt like I was suffocating. She had been in my house for months, recording us, watching us sleep. "Why?" I choked out. "Celine, why are you doing this?" She walked over to me, so close I could smell my own perfume on her skin. She reached out and tucked a loose strand of hair behind my ear. "Because you didn't deserve it," she whispered. "You never did. You stumbled into this life. You stumbled into Jackson. You're messy, Maya. You're fragile. I've spent 15 years cleaning up your messes, listening to your problems, being your shadow. I did the work. I learned his favorite movies. I learned how he likes his steak. I learned how to keep his house the way he likes it." She gripped my chin, her nails digging in just a little. "I didn't just want your husband, Maya. I wanted the version of me that you gotta be. And now, I'm just taking back what's mine." At that moment, the garage door opened. Jackson was home. Celine immediately burst into tears. She ripped the robe open at the shoulder, messed up her hair, and threw herself onto the floor. "Ah, please," she screamed. "I am SORRYIJUSTWANTEDTOTALKPLEASE S. He saw me standing over a sobbing, bruised Celine, who was wearing my clothes in our house. Maya? Jackson asked, his voice filled with a terror I'll never forget. What did you do? Celine looked up at him, her face a mask of pure, calculated agony. She's lost it, Jackson. She found out I knew about her secret. And she just snapped. Look what she did to the kitchen. Look what she did to me. She had smashed a vase on her way down. There was glass everywhere. I looked at Jackson. I saw the doubt flicker in his eyes for a split second. And that was the moment I stopped being scared. That was the moment I realized that if I didn't fight back right now, I was going to disappear. Jackson, I said, my voice is cold as a Midwestern winter. Check your pocket. He looked at me, confused. What? Check the gym bag you just brought in, the side pocket. He reached down, his eyes never leaving mine, and pulled out a small, black device. It's an AirTag, I said. I found it in my car this morning, and I realized if she was tracking me, she was definitely tracking you. So I put it in your bag to see if you were really at the gym, or if you were meeting her. But then I realized something else. Celine isn't just obsessed with you, Jackson. She's obsessed with us. I turned to Celine, who was still on the floor, her eyes darting around. You think you're me? I asked her. You think you know everything? You forgot one thing, Celine. You forgot that I'm the one who knows your mother. Celine's face went white, like Victorian ghost white. I called her this afternoon. I lied. I hadn't called her yet, but I knew Celine's biggest fear was her mother, a woman she'd kept hidden for a decade. She told me all about the incident at your last job. The boss's wife? The restraining order in Connecticut? She's on her way here, Celine. She's bringing the medical records. The transformation was instant. The victim on the floor vanished. Celine stood up, her eyes wide and feral. You didn't? She hissed. Oh, I did. I said, stepping toward her. And the police? I already called them. They've been on the line this whole time. My phone is in my pocket, Celine. They heard everything. They heard you admit to the cameras. They heard you admit to the breaking and entering. They heard the performance you just put on for Jackson. I pulled my phone out. The 911 dispatcher was still there. Celine looked at the phone, then at Jackson, then at the door. She didn't say a word. She didn't scream. She just bolted. She ran out the back door, into the woods behind our house, disappearing into the dark. The police arrived 5 minutes later. They found the cameras. They found the shrine she'd built in our basement crawl space. Photos of us with my face cut out and hers pasted over it. They found the journals. Hundreds of pages of her practicing my signature. Jackson and I moved 3 weeks later. We didn't tell anyone where. We changed our numbers, deleted our socials, and started over. But sometimes, when I'm getting ready for bed, I'll catch a whiff of that perfume. Or I'll see a car that looks just like hers idling at the end of the street. And I realize, you can change your locks, you can change your name, you can even change your life. But a shadow follows you forever. And I'm still waiting for mine to step back into the light.